Hey guys, welcome back to Paracord Planet. Today we're making a paracord bracelet fit for a king. We're using the vertical crown knot, at least that's what Mr. Bill calls it in his paracord cross video. And we've actually made that cross before and put it on a rosary, but today we're just using that same weave on a bracelet. So all you'll need for this one is 9 feet of 550 paracord. I've got color King Tut here, and then a 3/8 inch buckle. Let's dive in. So I made a practice one earlier today. Got this right here. And this one, it turned out all right. There's a couple problems with this bracelet. It tends to twist, so just keep that in mind as you're making it. But once you have a buckle on there and can attach it to itself, it stays straight and looks pretty nice. The other problem is that it's really hard to tighten down evenly. It's easy to keep the illusion going for just the short amount that we have on the cross here, but any longer, and it starts to look kind of uneven. So you can see at the beginning, let's see, this end here, it looks nice and even, and then we start to see some light through the knots, and it's a little bit crooked. So we're gonna see if we can do that better this time, just with how we tighten it down. So let's get started with that. I've got my paracord cut into 2 different pieces already, so about 4.5 feet each. I'm gonna find the middle of both of those. So here's the middles of the cord. That first one, we're gonna cow hitch onto the buckle, just like on most of our bracelets. Then we're going to take that second cord and just put it right between the other 2 cords. We want to make sure that this is still the middle of our cord. So we got right side on top, left side coming out the bottom. I'm going to take that right side and put it underneath, just like this. And then I'll take that left side, bring it under that, and then over the top and down through that right side loop. So this looks a lot like a cobra weave at this point. Tighten that down, and now is a good time to just check that all of the ends of your paracord are the same length, so that we don't run out of cord on one without the other. And mine are close enough, so we'll keep going. So before we go any further, we've got to switch up our cords. So our outside weaving strands are going to become our center, and vice versa. So I'm going to take the right side cord, bring it underneath to the middle, left side cord over the top to the middle. So we've kind of got this heart shape right here. Then we're going to do the same thing again, and we're not switching sides like we would on a cobra. It's going to be that right side underneath, red under that, across the top and through. So before you tighten it down, it should look like this. Now when we pull that tight, we want to pull the center strands and the outside strands, so that it turns into this little diagonal square right here. We want to be careful that we don't tighten down one cord much more than the others, because that's kind of what led to the problem in our first bracelet. So there we go, that's looking pretty nice and even, and we'll go ahead and keep on repeating that. So just once more in case you didn't catch it. Right side underneath to the middle, left side over the top to the middle. So before we start our knots, it looks like this. Then we'll bring that right side underneath, the left side cord going down underneath that. And I'll just grab the end here so you can see what I'm doing. So we're taking this cord right here and bringing it across to go down through this loop here. You want to make sure that nothing is tangled, because that will also make it tighten unevenly. So now you can kind of start to see the pattern developing as we tighten this one down. Again, we just want to make sure that we tighten it evenly on all the cords and from knot to knot. So there's a pretty even pattern starting to develop there. So we're just going to keep on going with that until we're almost the length that we want for our wrist. Alright, so I've got enough length here. I think this one went better than the first one. You guys can tell me. Got our crooked first one, and this one looks a lot straighter to me anyway. So now to finish it up, at first I wasn't sure how to do this, but it actually ended up being a lot easier than I figured it would be. So for sizing, first of all, I stopped it just before it's to the buckle, maybe half an inch of space left there. Because of how we're finishing off, I'll detach this end of the buckle and take those two middle strands, whatever ones you ended on, just whatever two are in the middle, and bring that down through the other end of the buckle. Bring that just about back to the bracelet. So then we're just going to take those two strands that went through the buckle and do the same weave back the other direction. So to get it like we started with on the other end, we're going to take that right side cord and bring it up through the middle. And now we have, just like our beginning, right side coming out the top, left side coming out the bottom. Then we'll do that little hook around the back, left side cord underneath that and across the top to go down through this hole. And then we'll pull that tight. Don't tighten it down all the way quite yet, because there's an optional step here. If that's not quite secure enough for you, you can take this cord and just tuck it underneath so that it comes out the same way over on this side. So what I mean by that is loosen this loop here, and then bring this cord underneath and just bring it through right alongside that other one. And that'll just make your end a little bit more secure and make sure that your buckle doesn't fall off the end there. So now we'll tighten all that down. I still had a little bit too much room on my core strands there, so I'm going to kind of adjust that as I go as well. So now there's not a super noticeable difference between that pattern and the one on the rest of the bracelet. You can see on this one as well, pretty well hidden. So now I'll just clip all of those ends. If you want to figure out how to kind of thread them down towards the bottom, you can do that too. But I'm happy enough with how this turned out since they're all on the sides. And if you're wondering why I had so much extra cord, I started with about 11 feet. So if you do 9, you'll have less left over than I did. So there's our vertical crown knot bracelet. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. I've always really liked this weave. I think it looks good on the cross and just as good on a bracelet. So this is one that I'd maybe actually wear myself. As always, we'll put links in the description to where you can find the supplies for this project. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.